this week I brought Dr. Bob Ziegenfuss out here. When I teach, a lot of times I teach how to make a proper rotation through the golf shot. And I brought him out here to show us exactly why I teach that and the benefits it will bring to you, to keep you out of pain, to keep your body in better shape, and to allow you to play this game a little bit longer. So, Dr. Bob, why don't you come on out here?
Hey, Chris.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me today. Yeah, Chris and I have the same belief patterns of how the body works. So I figured if you saw how the joints in the lower back work and upper, it would help explain why Chris is teaching the way he does and eliminate some of your injuries. In the lower back, your joints are meant to bend forward and backward, not twist. Both in the lower back and as you hear these terms, sacroiliac joints. Any twisting in the lower back will jam that together. The twisting takes place in the upper back, and that's why Chris teaches a proper takeaway and turn through it. So that will eliminate a lot of injuries in your lower back and sacroiliac joint. One other thing about the spine, I brought my 10-pound medicine ball. This is how much your head weighs. So this is sitting on your spine, and that is why proper body mechanics for the lower back and upper back will reduce your chances of having injuries.
And when you come out and take a lesson from us, the first thing that I do is I take a look at basic fundamentals. The fundamentals of your setup, your basic posture when you're taking your stance. So a lot of times when I see people set up, they set up with a curved spine, their back is slouched, their chin sticking out, which Dr. Bob just showed you there. You get a lot of pinching within each vertebrae, and it will cause pulled muscles, damaged back, and probably you wouldn't want to play after you pull one of those muscles for quite some time. So the first thing that I do when I try to get you set up and get you on the right path is to make sure that when we're setting up that we bend from the hips forward and we try to keep a nice neutral position of our spine. You know, basically a straighter position of the spine. Secondly, I'm trying to keep my chin tucked as I'm leaning forward. I want to make sure that I'm balanced in my feet, have a nice little bend to the knees, but I'm looking for balance and a neutral position of my spine. That's the first place I start. From that position, I make sure that once we get into a good setup, that we're making a proper rotation of the shoulders and the hips to take the club to the top of the backswing. If we're not making the proper rotation, as Dr. Bob showed just a moment ago, the lower spine does not twist. And if we are over twisting that area, we could injure something. Secondly, and more important, is the way through the shot. I see a lot of people when they're hitting shots, hit and fall back and their weight stays back here, their hip never goes through the shot, which causes a lot of stress on the lower back. So the first place I usually start with my lessons is just basic fundamentals of setup and basic fundamentals of just turning through in balance, allowing the hips, the upper body, and the club all to get to a full finish. If I do that, it takes the stress off of my spine. So you might come out thinking that we're going to hit a lot of golf balls and try to get that 300-yard shot, but we might start with something different. We might start with the setup. We might start with just a basic motion from back and through the shot to get you into a good neutral position so you don't have any injuries in the future. What would you think about that, Bob?
Chris, it's awesome, and the thing that I keep running in my mind is how athletic you are. You know, how athletic. And really, before you come out to work with Chris, watch athletes on TV. There are tennis courts just to our right here, and one of the first things I noticed with those individuals, it holds true there, it holds true with what he's saying, is a lot of them are kind of hunched over like that. That is not a position of power or strength, and that can lead to injury. Remember how much your head weighs. So he is at a nice athletic position, and that's what we would both want to see in you to avert having injuries, not only in the back, but hips and knees also. So I think that's awesome, Chris.
So to recap what we're saying, and Dr. Bob was saying about the spine, first of all, we want to get into a good position before we hit a shot. So we want to make sure that we're thinking of a neutral spine position, bending from the hips forward, maintaining our neutral spine as we lean forward. And secondly, as we lean forward, we want to make sure that our neck is in a nice neutral position. We're looking for balance, and we want to be able to take that swing with the golf club that we're swinging at 70 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, or even faster, and we want to make sure that we swing that club through, make sure that those hips turn, make sure that that foot turns through, make sure that we're facing that target 100%, and we're in balance at the end of every swing. Balance is a big key, because if we're not in balance, usually we're over swinging, and usually when we overswing, that's when we start to pull things. So thank you very much for your time. Hopefully this has helped you, and if you have any further questions, please come see myself or any of the other professionals in the shop, or even give Dr. Bob a call, and he would love to help you out, answer any questions that you have, or even help you with any injuries you have. Thank you.
Thanks.